Four more sleeps till the big day, although looking at the forecast, I reckon there'll be a few people won't get 4 nights of sleep. There's plenty on, we might come to that shortly. Interesting day today. We've been at the Cruising Yacht Club. The various potential contenders for overall in the Tattersalls Cup have been lining up on behind the panel and telling us about what's happening, but almost all the conversation is centering around this weather at the moment, which has been pretty iffy in various directions, but the models are starting to align. So the one thing we can safely say, after speaking to quite a number of people, is that we've got a good northerly airstream for the start, and getting increasingly fast on that first afternoon, and that holds down all the way down the coast. So word has it, we're not quite sure, it's come through various hands, that Comanche was talking about 24 hours to Tasman Island. That is extraordinary, and obviously that certainly puts the record, blows the record apart if she got in up the river. Of course, like all of these things, you have no idea what the model's going to look like until Boxing Day. What is interesting about it is that really strong northerly airstream, and it is more northerly than nor'easter. So a lot of the race, particularly of the front end guys, is down the rum line. This would be an absolute cracker for the old Wild Oats 11, which was great with the VMG, but man, these boats are going to go fast and they're going to be very, very wet. Those fast guys should get down there virtually all the way down there in northerly airstream, and then for anybody much behind that, it looks like a very, very strong westerly airstream coming through the strait and then hitting the fleet there, and we're talking about big winds here. So I think Jules Hall, who we spoke to on Disco Trooper, was mentioning that they've got about 70% of the race in 20 knots plus, and then the remainders in variations of 30 and 40 knot plus. So there's going to need to be a good deal of boat management here. Current is an issue, of course, because you're going offshore for that, but then you're probably getting bigger seas offshore as well. But it's certainly looking like favouring the really fast 100 footers and those immediately behind. In terms of overall, hard to say. You've got to reckon that Celestial V70, with Sam Haynes, that boat's really geared up for it. But URM, Alive, all of those other guys are all sort of well in the mix, and do not discount Caro, Max Klink's Boaton 52. So well prepared. We had a quick chat with Adrian Stead, who's their tactician. Our apologies that live stream got cut off about halfway through, so we'll see if we can have a chat with him a little bit further on the line. The other thing that's making life a little difficult, particularly for those further back in the fleet, is decisions about sails. There's a new rule now, which basically says you can take the numbers of jibs on your IRC certificate +1. But for a lot of people, there's going to be both extremes of very heavy wind and potentially, of course, when they get further south, not much wind at all. So inevitably, those dilemmas come out to play as well. We'll be bringing you updates before the Boxing Day start on Tuesday. When we're down at the club again, we'll give you an update at that point, and we'll get a clearer idea about how these models are converging and exactly what sort of conditions we're getting at the start and indeed all the way down the course. And of course, we look forward to bringing you the dock walk on Boxing Day morning itself. See you then.